Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Happy Monday, happy 1st of July, happy that the bloody PSR deadline is over and we can crack on. Newcastle news is in full effect today. There is absolutely loads to talk about in today's video. We're going to save a lot of it in detail for tomorrow night's live podcast at 7 PM. Every Tuesday, 7 PM. He's now the score. If you can't join me then, we're available on all audio platforms after it. I was a bit fragile today, people. That's why the video was a little bit later in the afternoon. Last night, a few beers with Toon legend Mickey Quinn after being on stage on that NX. Big up everyone that came to that. Fan zone, good crack. England just about scraped it somehow. But you know what? We're in a quarter final. It's tournament football. It's Southgate's luck. Who knows what'll happen. If you want to join us on Saturday, Switzerland quarter final settings, link is in the description to get yourselves some super early bird tickets at just a £5. It's going to be class. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Looking forward to it. Roll it on. Looking for all the stress again of watching England. My God, what a roller coaster that game was last night. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to rattle through loads of topics on Newcastle. We've announced signings today. We've obviously announced players leaving. We've announced the director of football finally done with his gardening. He's fucked off eventually. What else we got? Loads of stuff. Honestly, the Newcastle United St James's Park update with the sign coming down. Yeah, and more on that as well. So there's plenty. I think we'll just dive into the most recent news that's came out this afternoon though, and that is Miggy on the move. Saudi Arabia beckons for the Paraguayan international, according to Sky Sports News. Keith Downey, he has dropped an exclusive today saying that he is in talks with a Saudi Arabian club, unknown which club it is. Remember, Al-Shabaab had a £30 million bid accepted from Newcastle United for Almiron in January. However, he did not want to move then. He must be open to the move now, or again, a bit like the Elliot Anderson stuff, Newcastle are just pushing him that ever bit more every single day to get out, because we need the money. Well, we don't, actually, in a sense of PSR now. We are sweet because of what's happened with PSR. We'll talk about that in just a bit as well. Focusing on Miggy, this Saudi Arabian club, unknown, fee, unknown. Let's hope it is 20, 30 million. I think we'll be laughing with that. Take that all day long. Obviously, Almiron at the minute is featuring for Paraguay in Copa America. He got battered off Bruno's Brazil the other night, 4-1. So he's over there. Newcastle are back here, working hard. Eels, Stavely, everyone behind the scenes, grafting the last couple of days. Stressful few days for them. I'm sure with the PSR cracks, there's been loads of stuff. Even in this same article I was reading from The Athletic, I was saying that Trippier nearly left over the weekend. Obviously, Gordon, Liverpool. There's Luke Edwards just came out and said about Gordon that he was unhappy and that Gordon wanted to move. I'm not having that. Like, I know it is Liverpool's boyhood club, but Luke Edwards was trying to say that, you know, Gordon really wanted to move and his head was turned. I'm not too sure about that, like, but more of that in the podcast tomorrow night. There's that many topics to get through in this video, and there's not, and I don't want to bore you to death and do a massive long video. But with Almiron, he's one that's survived the PSR deadline, but will he survive the summer? I highly doubt it. I honestly think Almiron, Trippier, Wilson, Dubravka, might target maybe if someone will buy him, Longstaff. I think there's still going to be lots of outgoings this summer. Ryan Fraser's next to Southampton, apparently that's close as well. But on Almiron, talks with a move to Saudi Arabia. Listen, Miggy's worked hard at the club. We know all about that. He's grafted and all that. But if we want to improve, get to the next level, we need a right winger who scores more goals, gets more assists, can use both feet. So I'm all for the sale of Miggy, especially now he's in his 30s. Has he got only a year left on his contract, maybe? Obviously, we know the likes of Wilson have. So I would take this money all day long from Saudi, sell him on, and we'll see how that one progresses. I think this one is the one that gets done. Miggy's obviously going to have to change his mind on the whole Saudi thing. I think maybe it was because it was January and he didn't want to move then. You know, not the best time of the year. The summer gives them a lot of breathing space to make things happen. You've got a couple of months on your hands, not just, 30 days in January, especially when it was towards the end of the window. So Miggy moving to Saudi looks a real possibility, according to Sky Sports. So there's one to keep an eye on. One thing Sky Sports and everyone else did confirm today is that Dan Ashworth has finally left his garden. The bushes are nice and trimmed. The hedges are sorted out. He's built a new patio. He's got his hot tub there, cold plunge, barbecue, everything. That garden is looking pristine which has allowed him to now move to do more gardening in Manchester. They have finally paid the fee for him, Man United, not the 20 million we were initially hoping for. We've kind of settled on a midway point. It's said to believe to be close to £12 million for Ashworth. Not bad for a director of football, is it really? And that's done and dusted now. Ashworth leaves and begins his rule at Old Trafford with immediate effect. Good riddance! Good riddance, you snaky, snaky bastard. I am pleased to see the end of him and the end of this saga. This has dragged on for months and months now. A director of football transfer saga. Who would have thought, man? Only at the Toon. Only at Newcastle United would you get this. I want to hear what his punishment is still, by the way, now. For all these dodgy emails and that. That's just been swept under the carpet, hasn't it? Should be something sorted out there. But listen, we've got 12 million for Ashworth. That means it did, in fact, go towards our PSR. So the deal was done late last night. It was submitted. So that's thankfully managed to balance our books even more. So Newcastle United yesterday made over £80 million with Ashworth to Man U, Mintner to Brighton, and Elliot Anderson to Nottingham Forest. Let's talk about those two that were confirmed. Then I did a video yesterday morning in bloody Watford in the Premier Inn car park talking about Anderson going to Forest would be done and Mintner to Brighton. That's obviously all official now. You can see in this picture Mintner in his Brighton shirt. He's down there now at the Seagulls. 33 million for him, for a player that's never kicked a ball for Newcastle. Unreal business. Now we know the potential of Mintner. We know he's probably going to go on to be a world beater and we're going to pay for it. And I don't think we're going to buy back clause, so that stinks. I'm not a fan of that. Hopefully at least get a sell-on clause for when Chelsea do come in and buy him for 100 million like they do with every Brighton player, your Cucurellas, your Caicedos. Then we get something back out of it. But Mintner, good luck to him at Brighton. Listen, I'm sure the kid's a talent. That's why he's linked with a lot of top clubs. Dortmund, Roma are in for him, Marseille. Brighton he wants to prove himself on the biggest stage in the Premier League. Yeah, fair play to him. Good luck to him. No doubt he'll score an absolute screamer against us next season. Can't wait for that. But listen, it's a PSL world, and with financial fair play and everything else, we've had to make a sale of him. And listen, when you're selling Mintner, who's never played for us before, yes, he did very well on loan at Feyenoord, he's Gambian international, but he hasn't kicked the ball for us. He's never really tested. We don't know where, just probably thinking of the negative because it's Newcastle and thinking, he's going to go there, going to be unreal, set the world. Like, mate, just go to Brighton and be okay. Mate, just get a couple of goals, a few assists, and be like, he's a decent player. I hope that's the case. I really do. I really hope he's obviously just a decent player and doesn't turn out to be... Well, to be fair, what I wouldn't mind is if he does well at Brighton, then hopefully he gets a move abroad and he can do it there. But what I'm saying is I didn't want him to be a regret for Newcastle, which I guess he would be wherever he played. But with Mintner, he could turn out to be class, okay, or crap. There's not enough of a sample size yet, really, going off one season at Feyenoord and before that in the Norwegian League. So we'll see how he gets on. But good luck to Mintner down there at Brighton. But please just don't score a screamer against us, especially at St James's, Mintner. You know you will. That's the first bet I'm putting on next season. Anyways, we also sold our academy graduate star Elliot Anderson. The 21-year-old midfielder has moved to Nottingham Forest for a fee of £35 million. Again, unreal business. For me, honestly, it is. I think it really is. Now, Anderson's a decent player for me. He's good, but he's a squad player. He's not going to get in that midfield ahead of your Tonali's, Bruno's, Joelintons, even Willock, Miley. Then you've got Longstaff there. He's not a starting player. So if you can shift off Mintner and Anderson instead of having to shift off one big star in a Isaac, a Gordon or a Bruno, I think it's smart. I think the club have done well. Anderson's had 44 appearances for Newcastle, hasn't scored a goal, a few assists. Now I know obviously his style of play isn't really to do that and get amongst the goals and whatnot, but he's a good technical player. He's a smart player. He's a hard-working player. And he's obviously a local lad, a Whitley Bay born, played at Wallsend Boys Club. So you don't want to really sell him, but if you can get 35 million for him, I thought it made sense, and it's something we've had to do, really. So he's another one that went on the move yesterday before that PSR deadline shut. So again, good wishes and best of luck to Elliot Anderson. It'll be hilarious if he scores straight away next season. Watch him first game of the season, he'll probably bang one in. Hadn't scored in 40-odd games for Newcastle. Probably scoring his debut for Forest. He looked really good for Newcastle against Forest, didn't he? At the City Ground, I think he got an assist that day. So, good luck to Elliot. Good luck, War Kid. Enjoy yourself down there in Nottingham. And all the best for his future. Now, Newcastle haven't just been selling, they've also been buying goalkeepers. Goalkeeper United, that's what we are. Jesus, Keeper Castle United. Here we go. How many we got now? Obviously, we're expecting Dubravka to leave. We know Karius has already left, but at the minute, well, I wouldn't say at the minute, because before the weekend, I'll say, we obviously had Pope, Dubravka, Gillespie. We know Dubravka's going to go. So you had two there, Pope and Gillespie. Obviously, we've been trying to get James Trafford from Burnley. I've obviously wanted Mamardashvili, who's having a great Euros, but he has got that 40 million release clause. We're not going to say another keeper now, because we have signed two of them. Backups, mainly. I don't think we're going to strengthen goalkeeper department anymore unless we did sell Nick Pope, who has been rumoured a month ago to Ipswich Town, newly promoted Ipswich Town, where obviously that's his boyhood club, I think. I used to play for the academy or something like that. But we've been linked with Ipswich, the Trap boys. When I say he went on the move, I would expect this to be done now, because Newcastle have announced the signing of two goalkeepers. Obviously, yesterday, the Greek keeper from Forest also came to the tune. That was meant to be kind of part of the Anderson deals. Maybe some people are saying, oh, it's just a couple of million. So, yeah, Odysseus something. I forgot I should have looked at his name. Odysseus, I think his first name is, and then everyone just calling him Mr. V. So, Odysseus V, he comes in. Bit of mixed bag on this one, because at Forest, you had 5 appearances and he was terrible. I think he conceded 12 goals. But Forest went great with him last season, fainting relegation. And remember, before that, he was at Benfica, where he'd won titles there. He had a 60 million release clause a few years ago, because Man United were interested in Newcastle. We've been linked with him in the past. Loads of caps for Greece, caps for Germany at youth level, before he changed allegiances. So, I think it's a solid backup number 2. I think Dubravka's time is done now. I think he's aging. I've had enough of him, to be honest with you. He's been a good servant, apart from when he went off to Man United. But, at times last season, I was like, oh, time to go. Time to go, time to shift it on. So, listen, freshen up the thing. Get Odysseus in, see how he gets on. I'm sure he's a decent enough goalkeeper. Back up, let's hope we don't have to use him too much, really. It would be great if Nick Pope could stay injury-free. And then the other keeper I was saying today, John Ruddy. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that it was happening, and it has now been officially revealed by the club. He's been pictured with the shirt, that funky goalkeeper shirt, bit of an Adidas template, isn't it, from the Euros. Every country's got it. There he is, John Standards Ruddy, as I like to call him, because he did an interview with Newcastle United today, and all he talked about was standards. I'm setting standards, yeah. I've got high standards. He sounded like a manager. I think he thought he'd been appointed as Eddie Howe's successor. Honestly. And I liked it in a way. Obviously, I'm taking the mic, but in a way it was good, because it was showing his professionalism, his maturity, and his mindset. And he's going to bring that to the dressing room. And I think people kind of underestimate these signings sometimes, where we're 95% unlikely to ever see John Ruddy play for Newcastle. Look at Mark Gillespie special. We've now got 4 keepers, which is a bit mad. Obviously, Pope, Odysseus, Ruddy and Gillespie. You're never going to see Ruddy and Gillespie. Well, I say that. You normally wouldn't. But with Newcastle's injury record and the crises that we have, I'm sure you'll probably be starting in September when everyone else is knackered. But listen, Ruddy, Premier League experience. He was at Birmingham City last year. His contract's just expired today, so that's how we could announce him on a free. Yeah, didn't obviously do the best with Birmingham last year, with the treacherous position they found themselves in. But listen, Ruddy's alright. I didn't mind him. He does bring a wealth of experience. I don't really care. He's a 3rd, 4th choice goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? He's just going to be there on the training ground to take pelters off Isaac. So it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I don't mind the signing of John Ruddy. Some people are having a meltdown thinking, bloody hell, mate, Ashley's cracked this. John Ruddy. It's a free keeper. It's a free agent as a 3rd, 4th choice keeper. Just calm down. It's alright, man. It's not the end of the world. Like, if this was the end of the transfer, you'd be like, oh, well, this is bleak, isn't it? What we're saying, Ruddy and Odysseus. And another player we announced today officially is Lewis Hall. He has now completed his move. He is now a permanent Magpie. Last year in the summer was obviously a loan deal from Chelsea with an obligation to buy unless Newcastle finished lower than 14th. Obviously, we didn't do that. Hall had a great end to the season. Looks a fantastic prospect. Can't wait to see him. I really love Lewis Hall. 28 million, I think it is. Permanent move now for the young left back. So that's good news. And then the 4th signing we have made already by the 1st of July was obviously Lloyd Kelly. That was announced a few weeks back. So we're only in the 1st of July. The Euros is happening. We've got 4 signings, albeit 3 of them on a free. Kelly and the keeper was free. Who else did we say? Hall was obviously a big signing, and Odysseus was maybe part of that swap deal, maybe a couple of million. bit of muddied waters on that one, to be fair. Right then, let's wrap up, as I've been going on for quite some time, and finish on the subject of Newcastle United St James's Park refurbishment ahead of the new season. We obviously know outside we're getting the club store by Adidas, temporary shop opposite that obviously at the minute, stacks getting done, inside the ground, new pitch getting laid, and new signs finally on the east stand. It's such a petty thing to talk about, really, that we're that bothered about the font of lettering on a stand. But it's the Mike Ashley era, and it's the final piece. Washed hands with. See you later. Gone. Get out of there. Because that was the ugly Sports Direct font that was stinking out the place all around the stadium. We obviously ripped the Sports Direct signs down immediately after the takeover. That Newcastle United font stayed up. It had little, memories and an ideology of the past where you look at it and you think, oh, I remember when Sports Direct used to be the say that, and it's still the Sports Direct font. I don't like it. Obviously, the old school font from the 90s was way better. Let's see what they put up instead. I think they've got to put a new font. Put something new up, put something different, but maybe keep it with a traditional edge. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that new lettering is. And there will also be new Adidas badges I can reveal around the stadium. The club haven't said anything about that yet, but there will be some up there specifically above the Gallagher stand. So those 3 stripes, the emblem, will look a lot better. Even get the retro one on there, the trefoil logo. Get that on there, like we are doing with the third kit. But listen, there's loads I haven't even talked about in this video. It's been a mad whirlwind couple of days at Newcastle United Football Club, where we have managed to avoid a double-digit point deduction. If we didn't sell Mint or Anderson, it was rumoured that we would have faced a 10-point deduction next season from the Premier League. So that's why we were scrambling about the place trying to sell players. But we've done it. We've beat PSR. Loads more on that in tomorrow night's live podcast at 7 p.m. Just watching, people. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV and enjoy yourself.